Hello and welcome to today's expert interview. Now today we have something special for you as I interviewed Chris Ducker. This actually happened on Instagram Live. I actually broke his Instagram Live cherry as he had never done it before. And it's a really great interview. But if you don't know who Chris Ducker is, then you really need to get to know him because he is a super successful entrepreneur. He's also a best-selling author, and one of the things that we speak about is his latest book, Rise of the Youpreneur. It is a must-read for any entrepreneur, whether you're aspiring to be or you already are. This book is such essential reading. I was blown away by it when I read it. It really shares some of the best principles of what you should be doing in your business to establish yourself as a strong personal brand. Now, there were a few little technical issues as we were live, so the sound quality isn't the best ever, but it's still truly worth a listen. Chris shares a lot about himself and lots of insights that you really don't want to miss. So I hope you enjoy the interview. Any comments or questions, please do leave them below this video. So over to the main part of the show.
Hello.
Hello. How are you today?
I'm okay. I've got half my head cut off.
You have got half your head cut off.
I'll go like that, and then all of a sudden it magically appears again. How are you? So I did get a request when you did something. You did send a little request thing through.
Oh,
so
right.
There you go.
Oh, right. Okay, cool. Let me just turn you up a little bit more. So is this your first Instagram Live or your Instagram
It
Live?
is. You're popping my Instagram Live cherry here. I think.
Oh, you've never done a live.
I've never done a live. I've done lots on Periscope and Facebook and whatnot,
Yeah.
I'm an avid consumer of everything Instagram right now. I'm so into Instagram at the moment.
Me
And I
too.
just recently became verified as well, which was a bit of a surprise.
I just saw a tick.
I know, and like I didn't even notice it, and I had a whole bunch of messages from people saying, "Oh, you verified." I was like, "What? When did this happen?"
Yeah.
So I'm not actually sure when it happened, but I'm happy that it did nonetheless. So I'm kind of like I'm looking at Instagram a lot at the moment, and I talk about it a lot in the book, and I think I can genuinely say that my interaction and the conversations that I'm having in terms of everything online that's going on right now, Instagram is by far not only the most in terms of volume, but also in terms of in-depth, real connections and conversations. It's definitely top of the heap at the moment. So it's fun.
It was something, that I went to Russell Brunson's event recently, and he spoke about that. It's the biggest distributor as well, because obviously with Instagram you can be on your story, you can be live, you can do stuff in your feed, so it's a great way of sharing. I absolutely love it. It's a big focus in my business, so hopefully this might be the first of many lives that you start doing. So I'll let Chris introduce himself in just a second, but just wanted to give a little bit of a background as to why he's here today. You might be wondering, why is he here? Now, firstly, we're going to be talking about his amazing book. I absolutely love this book. And I was lucky enough to get gifted a copy in November at the Youpreneur Summit. I don't know, some of you might have seen the pictures behind the scenes. Let us know in the comments if you saw that or if you were there. It was such a great summit. Absolutely loved it. And we got this gifted to us before it was publicly released, before it was released. Now, the thing with that was I was reading the book, I was sharing a few insights from the book, and I just got inundated by messages from people going, how do I get this book? It looks great. How do I get it? How do I get it? And I'm like, I'm sorry, it's not been released yet, but it has been now, right? So I thought it'd be perfect to kind of get Chris on and actually speak a little bit about the book, the author himself. It could be better than that, because it's such a great book, and I really think it's an essential read for any kind of entrepreneur, and you'll see why in a minute. So before we speak more about that, Chris, do you want to kind of introduce yourself and just tell people a little bit about your background, your story, and kind of what you do?
Sure, yeah, not a problem. So I should say thank you before I do that for all the nice words about the book. It was very nice of you to say those nice things. Yeah, I mean, look, at the very core of what I do today, I'm a business coach and mentor. That's basically what I focus in on today. But I do a little bit more than just that. So I do hold, obviously, the live events such as the Youpreneur Summit. I have a high-end inner circle mastermind, which is called the Round Table, because I'm English. I'm King Arthur. Clearly, I'm King Arthur, and I've got my knights around me. So we have a lot of fun with that. But honestly, I mean, Youpreneur is a movement. It's honestly going to be the rest of my career. And, everything that I do with the Youpreneur community and the you know, the book itself, the you know, the event and everything that I you know, have in my own ecosystem as a Youpreneur is very clearly in kind of line with what I want to do for the brand and for the business moving forward over the next 10 to 15 years. But I mean, overall, honestly speaking, it truly, I mean, the goal of the book, the title of the book, Rise of the Youpreneur, it's a call to action, quite frankly. And I'm all about making sure that people make this one last final pivot in their careers and ultimately future-proof themselves in the same way.
Yeah. No, it's awesome. So, and obviously this isn't your first book, right? The first one was Virtual Freedom.
No.
I haven't yet to read that. I do need to read that. I've heard really good things about that one as well. So what was it about writing this book? Why did you write it now? Like, what was the decision? I know obviously writing a book's not easy, right? Like, I don't know any author that's been like, it's easy writing a book. Obviously, it's a huge decision. It's a big investment in your time. Why did you decide to write the book, and why now?
Well, I think, you know, much like with Virtual Freedom, I wrote that book as I came to the end of what I feel was the end of the journey in regards to learning everything I could learn on the subject of building a virtual team, delegating to virtual assistants and employees, et cetera, et cetera. See, a lot of people don't know about this of me, but I actually have a very, very large network of companies. We've actually got 4 different subsidiaries under the same umbrella. There's over 450 employees at our company. People see what I do online with Virtual Staff Finder and Youpreneur and the blogging and the podcasting and all that, and they think that I'm just one of these guys that gets paid silly money to run around the world speaking and things like that. If only it was that easy, if only life was that simple, right? So I mean, I do all those things, but you know, I had a major issue in 2009 when I burnt out as an entrepreneur. And I think every entrepreneur suffers from burnout in some way, shape or form at some point in their journey. It hit me hard. We're talking hospital time. We're talking antidepressants, the whole kit and caboodle, right? And so when I look back at that and I sort of see what happened in those 3 or 4 years after it took place, and then the book deal came along, it became a little bit of a no-brainer that what I was doing was just kind of dotting that final I and crossing the final T on that part of my journey. And I brought the book out and showed everybody how I did it. The same can be said for Rise of the Youpreneur. You know, I've worked for the last 8 years at building my own personal brand and a business around that personal brand. So I do genuinely monetize my personality and my expertise and what I do as a business owner. I monetize it from a personal brand perspective, and now I teach other people to do it through Rise of the Youpreneur and everything else that I do at youpreneur.com. So it's, you know, I guess it's just a bit of it's honestly, the way I look at it is it's kind of getting to the point at some point you reach, you know, an avenue, a fork in the road, so to speak, in the journey. And you say kind of, I've learned pretty much in terms of the basics, right? The fundamentals. I've learned pretty much that, you know, everything I'm going to learn on this subject. It's time to put it into a manual and share it with the world so that other people can go ahead and do likewise. And, you know, I got a very good friend of mine, Michael Hyatt, who's been in the publishing world for a long time. He is a very successful personal brand entrepreneur himself over in the US. And when I told him what I was doing with the book, and I actually sent him a very early draft of the book. And Michael was, he was actually the president and the CEO of Thomas Nelson Publishers in the US for over 20 something years. And when I showed him a copy of the first draft, he said to me, you know what, I wish I had this book 10 years ago. It could have fast tracked the entire thing for me. You know?
Yeah, I thought that. And you know, one of the things I loved about it is the way it's set out. Like, it's set out almost like a course. Like, you could give it to someone. It's set out like a course, right? It's like, you know, it's the beginning, it's the monetize, it's the market, it's all set out, and then it's step by step. So like when I got the book, I actually went to the area that I was like, I want to focus on right now, read all that, and then I went back and then I read it, you know, front to back. And I reread the same bit again. And also then in that context, I got new insights, right? But it is almost like a course. Like, so it makes it really easy for people to understand, and you can also go back to it and reference it really, really easy because of the way it's set out. So it is, like you say, I think, you know, it's the book for anyone. I think whether you're starting out, but also whichever kind of, wherever you are in your business, it's just really great, really easy. Like, I think to be honest, out of all the books I read, the layout out of it is probably the best I've ever seen. I don't know if you got a lot of help with that, or you went across it, you know, because the layout is so linear and it makes so much sense. And then you've also got some great little drawings and stuff, which is great for me because I'm a visual person and many people are. You know, I love, you know, the way you did the diagram to do your ecosystem, right? Like, it just makes so much sense. And as a visual person, it kind of just pieces it all together, you know?
Well, if anybody that knows me knows I don't do things by accident. So everything was, you know, everything you see was very, very strategically calculated to take place and to look the way it was supposed to look. And I mean, you know, obviously I have a team of people to help me. I don't do it on my own, but I have a team of people to help me out with it. And we were very, very happy with the outcome. I mean, you know, when I read through, you know, I think we're almost at 200 reviews already after like a month, which is insane in itself. Wow. But I mean, like when I look at those numbers and I look at those reviews and I see words like the Bible of personal brand business, like, and not just once, like it's coming up several times. I'm like, really? I mean, that's like, to say that is a pretty big thing to say that. So, I mean, I'll take it all on board. I'll take all of it on board. But I mean, we do actually have plans to produce a digital course version of the book early next year. But I mean, it's, you know, for me, this was never about the sprint as well, Kirsty. Like, it was never about just launching the book and forgetting about it. You know, that's what marketers do. And so my goal here is to go on a marathon with this thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be something that I hope will serve me very, very well for a long, long time from a business owner perspective. So we'll see how things develop with it. I mean, so far so good. Everybody seems to be absolutely loving it, which is fantastic. But I'll tell you one thing is very, very interesting, and I didn't see this one coming at all, but I've been really interested by this little statistic or this little bit of feedback that we got out of it. So in the book, we give everybody the chance to sign up for what we call our next step assessment. And it's a very simple online kind of quiz that they have to take. And based on the types of answers that they give, we figure out kind of where they are in the build, marketing, and monetizing process of the business of you, as we call it, right? And something very, very interesting came out of this. Something like 80% of the people that took that assessment classed themselves as an intermediate entrepreneur, meaning they've been around for a while, they've had a certain level of success already in their career, but they're still building their business, right? But out of that 80%, another 80% have classed themselves as only just beginning their personal brand journey. So we're talking about people that are multi-six figure, some of them are seven-figure entrepreneurs, crushing it, making tons of money, but they're only just starting their personal brand journey. Very interesting little reveal there. I didn't see that coming at all. And when we saw it, we were like, holy crap, like we got a lot of work to do here. Because even people that have been around for a while still are classing themselves as beginners in terms of their personal brand business journey. So it's exciting.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's also kind of a mindset thing as well, right? Of like how they see themselves. Because I think when you're in business, I don't know about you, but I always feel like I'm growing all the time. So I never feel like I don't know if I would ever class myself as advanced, because I'm always feeling like I'm cool as, you know, on a journey to get there, you know? So it's interesting. Yeah. I tried doing that test, but I think because I got it so early, it wasn't available yet. So, because we got it.
Very possibly. You go back and do it now. Yeah. You go back and do it now, you'll be able to take it without any problems.
Yeah. That's the one disadvantage of getting it early. It's like not everything's set up just yet. But yeah, I need to do that. So speaking a little bit more about the book then, because I think one of the things that I loved about it, and obviously, you know, personal brand is a big part of it, and you can speak more about that. And I think, you know, even like looking at the title, you know, it's like Youpreneur, and people can kind of gauge that straight away. But one of the things that came through for me that I loved and that everything kind of went back to was relationships, right? It's all about relationships. You know, you speak about, you know, the P2P model rather than B2B and this kind of thing. And I know that for me, that's huge. It's like how I build all the success of my business. And I think relationships are key to success in every part of your life, right? Not just your business. But that for me was like one of the biggest biggest takeaways. And I think like throughout the book, and even when you reference like your clients and other people, like that was a really, really strong part. And it was a huge takeaway. It was really great to see that, you know, you're saying that too. So, you know, if you were to talk about, you know, a little bit about what the book's about and who it's for, how would you kind of summarize? What would you say to people?
Well, you know, the book was written for entrepreneurs or want to be entrepreneurs, or what do they call them? Wannapreneurs? Wannapreneurs, I think.
Yeah.
Wantrepreneurs. God, there's so many bloody preneurs out there now. But
Maybe you talk for a bit.
I know it could. I should actually get on that. Actually, you're right. You know, it was written for people that ultimately want to build a successful business based around them. Like it's Youpreneur, right?
Yeah.
So it's around you, your personality, your expertise, your experience, the people that you want to serve, the people you want to do business with. And let me tell you something, you know what? I wasn't always of this mindset. I've been a brick and mortar guy my entire life up until probably just 8 years ago when I started using the internet for everything other than just email and cat videos on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
So it was like, this was a realization that came to me in the second half of my entrepreneurial journey, which is now at what, 15, 16 years. And so I think that as I look back, like retrospectively, it became very clear to me from a business ownership perspective myself that whenever I would close a deal, they were buying me. They weren't buying my firm or my company or the service or even the outcome of that service. 9 times out of 10, I closed the sale based on me and the relationship that I'd had with that person, whether it was kind of like a one-call close scenario over the phone for classified ad, you know, in Auto Trader when I was 18, or whether it was, you know, a multi-million-dollar deal for a call center, you know, over the United States. It always came down to the relationship that I had with the people I was working with. And the moment I accepted that and I doubled down on building my own personal brand, that's when the floodgates opened. I mean, you know, all of the keynote opportunities around the world and the book and high level coaching. And like, if you told me 10 years ago that I'd be making the kind of money that I'm making now as a business coach, I'd have called you insane. I wouldn't have seen it coming at all. Yet here I am teaching people to make a lot of money from their experience. I have one client who's in the financial services industry, not a sexy industry at all, right? Not at all. In fact, quite boring and stuffy and full of compliance and everything. But she is crushing it right now. Like she's on par to do $2 million over in the US this year. And 18 months ago, she was barely doing $500,000. So, you know, it really comes down to just your mindset and accepting the fact that when you build that business around you and your expertise and your messaging, that it's a great thing. Like people want to do business with other people, they want to do business with brands. They want to do business with people. And that's why the P2P kind of philosophy comes out, you know?
Yeah. No, I totally agree. When do you think that shift, when did that happen for you?
For me, I started to see it probably around 2011 or so. But I think the defining factor was mid 2012. I had back surgery and I had a little bit of time kind of when I was out of the game for a bit. And I was doing a lot of kind of thinking, a lot of processing, what was working, what was not working. Because, you know, it's like when you're building the business, you don't have that much downtime. It's nice to be like, it was a bummer that I had to have back surgery, but it was kind of good because it opened up my mind a little bit over recovery time to be able to see what was really working and what wasn't. And so when I realized that was the deal, I think probably mid 2012, that was when I really doubled down on my own personal brand. And that was when everything kind of just took off.
And what was when you said, so what would have been your first step? What was the first thing you did differently when you doubled down on it? What was this first shift you made?
So I transferred everything. I was blogging and podcasting on one domain, which was a brand-based domain. And then I transferred everything over to my own personal domain name. So everything at chrisducker.com, which is now where I blog and, podcast on a weekly basis now still. I ended up utilizing everything personal brand wise all over social at Chris Ducker everywhere. And it just it became easy. You know, it became easy to talk about what I was doing. It became easy to say follow me at Chris Ducker on all the socials. I look forward to interacting with you instead of, follow me at Twitter / live to sell group / virtual / it was a nightmare, right? So now it's just at Chris Ducker on all the socials. It's so much easier.
It is. And then the thing is, like you saying about the personal brand, it's like when you're you, it's so much easier, right? When you can just be completely authentically you, the passion comes across. And I think for me and for my clients, it's like, soon as they're comfortable being them, they're going to attract like-minded people, right? So you attract who you are. But it's like the passion of what you're doing, it just comes through. And I hear time and time again that people like say they buy me, but they buy because they can see how passionate I am. And I think you can only really get that passion about something that is really authentically you, right?
Right, exactly. And I mean, that's why I love, and we're here right here on my favorite platform right now, other than my own platform, because you don't want to build your business on rented land, right? Don't build your home on rented land. That's a bad idea. I talk about that in the book at length because it drives me nuts. But Instagram, for example, is my one true love when it comes to social media right now. And what I love about Instagram is that it gives me the opportunity to do several things in several different ways with several types of people. For example, when I go ahead and post an Instagram story or a series of stories, maybe 4 or 5 clips in a row, sharing some tips or whatever, I know that those clips are going to be seen by an average of about, at this point, about 1,200 people will see those clips within a 24-hour period. Now, if you look at my profile at, I don't know, 20, I don't even know how many people are following me, 20, I'm going to say 27,000, maybe, I don't know. So it's much smaller to the amount of people that follow me on the profile. So on the profile, you do one kind of thing. On Instagram stories, you do another kind of thing. And Instagram Live, whole different ball game right here, right? So it's, I think that it's about, creating the type of content to create those connections and those, and those kind of relationships based on what you're doing and who you're doing it for. Like anybody that follows me here on Instagram and watches my stories knows that they're going to see stuff there that they will not see anywhere else online. Like that's the behind the scenes of my business and my life on Instagram stories. I don't see it anywhere else. I don't post it anywhere else. And so they're the hardcore fans,
I totally agree
they're the
with
hardcore peeps. And
and
I love
that's
that.
why
I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's perfect for like when you've got a personal brand, because it's like your reality show, right? It's your reality show. It's the reality behind it. People getting to see, your life in the stories, right? They're getting to really get to know you. So it is, I think, really an essential platform, especially with the personal brand side, because it's the one where people get to know you. It's not like YouTube where it's an edited video, right? It's not like other platforms where they're seeing one side of things. They get to see you kind of, multi-dimensionally, right? So it's such an awesome platform. So going back to the book then, who would you say then needs to read this? Who would you say like you wrote this for the person who is, where they stuck, where they're trying to get to?
It's for the people like you, Kirsty. It's for people like you. I mean, it's coaches, consultants, service providers, freelancers, bloggers, podcasters, YouTubers, live streamers, authors, speakers, anybody really building a business or wanting to build a business based around them and their experience. And I mean, we have literally had reviews from everyone. Like we've got vets reading this bloody book right now. Like vets are reaching out to me, keeping with the animal tradition. Professional dog walkers, dog trainers have read it as well. But I mean, all the way down to public speakers and, a lot of business coaches, a lot of life coaches, anybody really building a business based around, what they want to do and who they want to do it with. Because I don't know about you. I mean, you're obviously a lot younger than I am, clearly. Wrinkles. Look at all this going on here.
People must think I'm younger than I am, though. I might be older than you're actually thinking, but
okay.
I'm younger.
I need you to connect me with your makeup artist then, clearly. Whoever it is, they're doing a great job. No, but I mean, like on a very serious note, when I look at the types of people that are picking the book up, it's a plethora of so many different age groups and so many different industries. And I know it's helping them. Like I know it's helping them. And that's all you can ask for from an author's perspective is to be able to just let people or allow people to find the book, pick it up and take a whole bunch out of it and get to work with it.
Yeah, awesome. Well, we're nearly hitting that half an hour mark, so we're gonna like kind of summarize. If anyone has any questions, like literally in the next couple of minutes, you want to quickly put them up there now, and I'm sure Chris will be happy to answer them. It's kind of hard to see with this at the moment because there's two, but we should be able to see something.
I wanna. Can I? I've been gagging to try something here. Can I just try something? Hold on.
Go on.
Because they've got these little. Hang on. Oh, look at that. How good is that? No. I saw the little icon with the smiley face with the thingies, and that's so good.
Yeah.
That is pretty cool. Hold on. Now, you know what we're going to do now? We're just going to go through them. I'm sorry, is this like supposed to be really serious, Kirsty?
No, it's fine.
Because if it is, you've got the wrong guy on here.
You need to start going on it more, then you can practice.
Look at this one. It's so good. Okay, I'm going to turn it off now because I don't want to. Can I turn it off? Hold on.
Yeah,
I see all the laughing emojis.
Yeah.
Hold on. One more. Hold on. Ooh, look at the ears. Oh, that's great. That would freak my kid out, though. I think my kid would get freaked out by this. Okay, all right. I'm going to turn it off.
Cool. And it's Samantha. She just had a question.
What questions do we have? Let's go through a few questions. Go on.
As a product-based business, is it possible to build a personal brand from that?
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. Yes, without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, look, there is an owner of the business, right? Whether that person is, excited and enthusiastic about the idea of being a little bit more center stage. Remember, people want to do business with other people. That's why it's P2P, people to people, right? So putting a little bit of your personality and a little bit of your life into what you do for your customers is never a bad thing. Another client that we worked with is very popular on Etsy. She does lots of little stuffed toys for children and things like that. The moment she started putting herself in her videos on Twitter and on Instagram and things like that, people were just like, oh, finally, we get to see what you like. This is great. Yeah. And, the sales go up because they make that connection, right? So it's absolutely doable to get a brand-based business and turn it into more of a personal brand-based business. But you don't want to necessarily let or allow the product to lose its identity. You're just elaborating on it a little bit more. You're just complementing it, for want of a better term. And it's huge. I mean, why do you think influencer marketing is so big? Because if you put a famous celebrity, in a shot, and that person is holding up, Dove body wash and saying, I use this every morning, it's great, they'll pay you for that. Dove will pay you for that because they know that P2P connection is there with the fans of that person. So, this is why Kim Kardashian and, other talentless people, quite frankly, get all this money because they have the influence. They've built this personal brand up around what they do and how they do it as a personality rather than as an experienced person. It's more just people love me for who I am. And that, whether you like Kim or other people like that or not, is neither here nor there. The fact of the matter is she will get paid millions of dollars for just one or a series of different Instagram posts because of the connection that she's got with her audience,
Yeah. Cool. You are breaking up quite a little bit now, but I got most of that. But I think we're kind of out of time now. That's all right. That's fine. But we're kind of out of time. But thank you so much, Chris, for being here. It was really, really good talking to you. I'm gonna grab the book. Like I said, such an amazing read. Like, I really do think it's essential reading. I'm gonna stick the link in my story and on my highlights, so you can just swipe up and you can get yourself a copy. So, have you got any closing words or anything you want to say before we finish?
No, I would just leave you all with, just a simple message of just don't be scared to be you. People will love you for who you are. And when you build that business of you, it's very, very hard to copy it. So you end up future-proofing yourself at the same time.
Exactly. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And, I've seen the same with my own business and with my clients' business, all of them. Like, when they focus on them, they go strong into their personal brand. They fly. They absolutely fly. Because you could, like you say, you can't replicate you. There's no one that has your experience, your personality. There's no one else out there. So you're building something that's 100% unique and it can't be replicated, right?
Couldn't agree more. And obviously, if anybody's tuning in, they want to connect with me. Clearly, Instagram is the mode to do it at this moment in time. So,
and you're gonna be doing more lives?
I might just pop on. I might do a few bits and pieces. We'll see. I like to try and be as intentional as I can with a lot of the stuff that I do online. But I think with this mode, or rather with this medium being as mobile and as kind of behind the scenes and raw as it already is, I might just end up popping on every now and then and dropping a few value bombs here and there. So we'll see what happens.
I already got off to order the book now. Can't wait to read it. So that's
I
awesome.
love it.
You're gonna love it.
Good.
And obviously go back, to Chris's profile when you read it, and obviously got review on Amazon. Let them know how your thoughts on it and stuff. I'm sure you'll love to hear.
Now, I've got one question for you before I go.
Yeah.
Are we going to see you again at the Youpreneur Summit in November?
Yes. I'm gonna. Do you know what? I've been trying to do it for my phone because I've been on the move. I've actually been with lions and tigers this weekend. I've been on a bit of a safari in the UK again.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. All right.
I was in this little VIP lodge. It was absolutely amazing. So I haven't had signal. I've been in the Kent countryside.
You'll have to send me the contact details for that. That sounds fantastic. I'd love to do that with the family. It was
absolutely amazing. It's called the Wildcat Sanctuary. It's in Kent, in Ashford. Because you're moving back, right? You're moving back to the UK.
I am in just a few months from now. We're going to be back in Cambridge. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. No, I'll send you the details. It's just it was mind blowing. Your kids, like they'd love it. It was amazing. You get so close. I fed a lion, fed a cheetah. My husband fed a tiger and a panther.
Not exactly one of the things you think you're going to do in life, is it? Feeding a lion. You know what I mean?
I did, but it was pretty scary. If you go on my feed now, you'll see me doing it because he was making quite a lot of noise. He was, showing that he was the boss, and it was a bit like. And I'm quite small, and he was huge. They have to stand up in order for you to feed them. So he was this like this, like that.
Wow. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, no, it was really, really good. Cool, awesome. Well, it's really good having you on, and like I said, I'll share the link so you can all, get a copy. You're not going to regret it. It's basically you're spending a few pounds and you're getting basically a whole business and personal, branding course here. Pretty much. Plus you got the quiz, right? So I think that's even more useful, and I need to do that
for sure.
For sure. So I'm going to go get my ticket. Funny enough, just one last little thing. One of my clients I recommended the book to. She read it and then bought basically straight after reading it. She read it back to back straight away. Bought her ticket for the summit, so she's going to be there as well.
Oh, that's great. You guys can hang out together. That's fantastic. That's great. Yeah, I mean we're already about what are we now? We're about a week or so into ticket sales, and we've got to be at least. I'm going to say we're about 35% of our allocation has gone already. So it's kind of just flown out the door, which is fantastic so early on. But I mean, come ye. We're all about bringing together great people.
Yeah. No, I'm going to get my ticket now. I keep worrying that I'm going to miss the mastermind bit, so that's a little bit more limited, right?
We're at like 80% capacity for that already, so you better move fast. Yeah.
So because I've been away, I'm gonna be on it now. I'm gonna get my ticket before it goes.
Good.
Awesome. Good. Thank you again for joining us. And
it was my pleasure.
Let's see. Awesome. Cool.
All right.
Thank
Take good care.
See you
it was
soon.
great chatting.
Bye.
See ya.
Everyone.